All right, Knights of Apollo, welcome back to another Rome 2 Siege battle. This one is a 3v3, but there is a catch. The players had to spin a wheel to see what faction they were going to play as. And we definitely got some interesting factions today. Starting with the attackers, we have Athens, Nervii, and Gaeti. Now looking at the defenders, we've got Bactria, Arverni, and the Seleucids. Now this battle is very interesting because of the tactics used by one of the sides. I'm not going to say who, but it's a very interesting fight and a well planned out strategy battle that I think you guys are going to appreciate. I also wanted to mention my Discord. It's linked down in the video description. If you're looking for a good community to play a lot of Rome 2 Siege battles, this is the place to be, or just other games as well. There's a growing community right now of Rome 2 Siege players, and it's really cool to see how active it's been. So definitely check it out. It doesn't matter what skill level you are. It doesn't matter, if you're a noob or a pro, there's a place for you, and it's a great play. Because I know it's difficult. Ever since Creative Assembly got rid of the chat in the game, it can be more difficult to get in matches more organically, so you got to rely on Discord. So definitely check it out, guys. Linked in the video description. Also, if you happen to not be subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button because we are 40,000 subs away from 1 million, which is insane. So thank you guys for checking that out and considering subscribing. I do appreciate it. So let's finally get started here with this battle. All right, guys, here we go. Battle underway, and it looks like Nervii is going to lead the charge here. He's got his towers moving forward. In fact, all of them have their towers moving forward. We do have a bit of a sally out from Arverni. They've got some heavy horse, very dangerous cav. So we'll see what they can do with them. They're probably going to wait. I can't imagine that they're going to charge in instantly. They're probably going to wait for possibly, the attackers of not staying focused or focusing somewhere else and not really seeing the cav move in. We'll see. Looks like they're going into the tree line. That tells me that they're going to try to hide them and just hope for the best. Hope for the best. He is moving his archers over to that side, so possibly he's going to use... This is kind of a clever position here. You got the buildings, which will prevent the frontal charge, but if the cav comes by, close enough, he can use his archers to kind of zone them out. But again, notice how they disappeared. Oh, there they go. But look at this. Look at this. He's definitely going with a delayed attack approach. He's going to wait for the attackers to kind of lose focus. Like I said, lose focus and move in. He's not going to go instantly into this battle. Athens might be the first one to get to the walls here. Gaeti is holding back. He's not moving forward. And there goes some artillery fire. It appears he's going to bring down these walls here and make it a nice breach point for the assault. This settlement is... It can be pretty challenging to attack, honestly, because... because there's a lot of narrow choke points. You also have this cliff over here, which defenders can put archers on and fire down. The victory point is right here, which again is in a very narrow choke point. There's also another cliff you can set up archers on. So it's very advantageous for the defenders, where the attackers have to get pretty creative and smart with their approach. Athens is very close to scaling the walls. I wonder if he's going to. It almost looks like he's building a siege tower wall to protect his men from archer fire. But now we're starting to see some defending units appear here. We've got the Syrian heavy archers for the Seleucids. We've got some chosen swordsmen from Arverni. We also got, let's see, what do we got? Eastern spearmen. They're going to hold the initial defense. The breach has been broken. And the question is, are they going to use the towers here? I think Nervii might be the one who actually uses the towers. I could be wrong. He could be setting up another wall defense that will shield his men as he advances forward through the breach point. It's going to be an interesting play here. Again, this is a clear wall, right? They're making the wall with the siege towers. I don't think they might use them a little bit to attack. But looking at the defenders, they're not really holding this position with a ton of troops. They're leaving this space open. Maybe they have archers over here that can fire into the flank or something. So I think the attackers are being very careful here, very cautious, because they don't want to run into a trap. And let's also try to keep a mental note, guys, of the sneaky cav that went into the forest that will most likely appear when the defenders or the attackers least expect it. I'm curious to see if they're going to bring down another section of wall. They are currently holding fire. They have 0 kills with the artillery, so it's only been used to bring down this wall. And now archers are moving forward. Look at this, the Cretan archers of Athens moving forward, trying to get into position to fire at the angry defending archers, the mercenary Syrian archers. And there we go, shots are being fired, and he's going after thorax swordsmen, surprisingly enough. I don't know if the angle is ideal here, but they are going for these swordsmen. They've killed 1 so far. Make that 2, make that 3. I don't know if that's worth the trade, though. Like, I don't know if it's worth exhausting your ammo. If you had I would move them a little bit more here and fire like that, because then you'd have that sword side. You'd get some good hits there and do a lot of damage, inflict a lot of casualties. So we'll see what he does with the archers there, but I like that he's moving them around. He's kind of looking for weak spots in the defense, and they're being very cautious. And Nervii is using his towers, it looks like. So he is going to drop off all his troops, most likely. Never mind. They're evacuating the siege tower, so he's just moving it again to be a shield to protect his infantry as they advance. Now and same thing with Gati here. They also have set up a shield wall, which is protecting them from this arrow tower, which is about to be destroyed. I guess they sent a unit of spears to throw some torches on it, but it's about to be destroyed. But this will still protect them against enemy archer fire coming from this angle. So yeah, they're going all in here, guys. This is a very focused pinpoint attack. It's not really sprawling out. It's not really spread out here. So that's dangerous. And here comes the first unit of infantry. That was pretty smart. The spears got absolutely decimated there. But the thing is it doesn't matter because they're a cheap unit. And that was the kind of the point of this unit, is to just take the brunt of those javies. Now we have the thorax swordsmen following up and closing the distance so they do not get hit. That was a good play by the attackers there, using a cheap unit to take the brunt of that attack and then following up with elite units like the thorax swordsmen to close in and bring the fight to this infantry. So I'm looking at the defense, and honestly, I think the defenders are making a big mistake here. I think they need to close in. It's a tiny choke point. We'll see what happens, but they might do that. We got Hillman up on the walls throwing down some javies. That's pretty good. Oh, but they are exposed to archer fire from this flank, and that's what Gati is providing. Got some heavy bowmen just letting loose some arrows on them. I don't know if it's worth it, honestly, to waste ammo on the Hillman, because they're a cheap unit. You just got to get some infantry up there. Now we have Gati. They're moving up some. No, this is a new spear unit, and yeah, sure enough, they're going after the Hillman so they can try to silence them. Now we got archer fire coming in. Look at this, the Syrian archers trying to take cover behind these small huts here. But yeah, the Athenians have him in a difficult situation. The Cretan archers have a great position here, and there's so many of them letting loose hatred upon the enemy. And just like that, Assyrian, like, here's the thing with archers, guys. As soon as your archer unit is losing the battle against another archer unit, get them out of there. Don't try to fight. Don't think that it's going to change. Just get them out of there, because that is a very expensive unit. They're down. They survived. They didn't fully break or rout. They wavered, but they're down to 36 men. They're going to be tired. They have many casualties sustained. So they're going to most likely break early on in this battle and not get their money's worth out of that expensive archer unit. But more and more Athenians pouring in. I love the Athenians kind of spearheading this attack with the help of with Gaeti. But they are going to finish up this Hillman unit. And they're starting to get a foothold on this territory. We do have some Celtic warriors. The first line of defense for Nervii. He's going to try to hold this breach. I like the fact that they're not giving up on this position so quickly. The defenders are, you know, I was thinking just based on where their troops are kind of positioned here, I honestly thought they would let them come in a little bit and, I don't know, maybe use archers, but here we go. This is a good archer engagement for the defenders. We've got a nice line, multiple lines here of Gaelic hunters, Syrian heavy bows. They're going to let loose some arrows and just crush the heavy bowmen of Gaeti. And yeah, they're going to fall back because that's a good example. Fall back. Don't stay there and think, oh, maybe we can land a couple lucky shots and we can turn this. No, if you're not winning the engagement, get out of there. And here we go, Nervii using the Gaelic hunters, accompanied with Gaeti. They're just letting loose so many arrows, and they are just evaporating the Syrian or the Seleucid archers. Look at that. Look at that. The Persian light archers stand no chance. And that's a huge, huge loss for the Seleucids there. That losing so many archers so quickly without doing any damage. I mean, let's look at the kills these guys have. Ready? 24. That's the Syrian archers. These guys have 24 as well. Wait, is that? Oh, no, 21 for the Syrian archers. 24 with the, they're disappearing now, but these are like the Persian archers. That's terrible. Your archers, especially the Syrian archers, they need at least 100 kills. Like, at least. And you got to hope those 100 kills are quality kills to get your money's worth. There's a nice charge of Athenian thorax swords taking on the thorax swords of the Seleucids. And now we've got some archer fire coming in. And that's a pretty good spot right there because they are hitting them sword side. But my goodness, once again, these Syrian, we've got Bactria sending up Syrian archers. Good to see Bactria. We haven't really seen them in the battle so far. But yeah, good retreat there. I'm glad he's retreating them. I get it. They're desperately trying to use their archers to hit the sword side of the thorax swordsman, and they are doing a pretty good job, all things considered. It's smart that they're staying back, guys. They're staying back. They're making it so the Athenian archers cannot open fire and reach the archers doing damage to his infantry. So you got to, you know, make sure positioning with the archers is so important, guys. So important. So now we have our Verney falling back as some chosen swordsmen. It looks like they have called it quits on defending this position. And honestly, that's the smart move. And it's not even... these attackers, they know what they're doing. They honestly know. Because when I first saw this, I was greatly concerned. I was like, oh, one little choke point? That's going to be disaster. That's going to be so easy to hold for the defenders. But they used their archers so effectively on not only killing the enemy archers, but also weakening the infantry that were holding these positions. Oh, now we got artillery coming in. Oh, no. This is a huge blob of chosen swordsmen. This is an elite unit you do not want to be losing to artillery fire. So yeah, good hits with the artillery there. Fantastic. There we go. Another 3 coming in. You gotta spread them out, man. Spread them out. Yeah, hopefully they do that. So far, this has been a losing battle for the defenders. A losing fight. Thorax swordsmen in position. They've fallen back to the next layer of defense. They're gonna have a uphill battle, the defenders, that is, an uphill battle to try to win this fight. We've got some Bactrian Hillmen, which I believe are slightly better than the standard Hillmen, if I'm not mistaken. But they're throwing some jabbies at the mercenary axe warriors, trying to soften them up. More artillery coming in and going for, yeah, the big blobs of troops. I'm curious to see how many kills the artillery has. Let's see, 213. That's insane because they've only just started firing these artillery pieces. Man, that's brutal. So now the fight is about to rage on here. Great use of the skirmishing abilities of this infantry. They're going to just sit back and skirmish down. You got to charge in. There we go. Is he charging? No, don't turn your back to the enemy. Charge in. You got to charge in. You're just taking useless casualties here. Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. I mean, eventually the attackers will charge in, but at what cost? You know, like, they're going to take so many losses. And now more archer fire coming in. And, you know, where's that cav? Where's that cav? I hope we didn't miss it, but my goodness, they need a good sally out charge with that cav that we saw at the beginning. Raced out. And then once again, this is what I'm talking about. This game is all about skirmishing, at least when it comes to siege battles. It's all about skirmishing. It's all about positioning, trying to get an, you know, a very effective angle on your opponent so you can chip away at their either attackers or defending forces. Mercenary axe warriors, they are kind of hanging back. Looks like Bactria might be charging in. I think they've got their Hillman charging. There we go. That's a nice little charge bonus. I don't think they're going to win this engagement, but they're definitely trying to get the most out of this Bactrian Hillman unit. And they've got skirmish abilities, so they got 40 kills. But I can't imagine them getting more than 100 here. They're probably going to get chewed out by this mercenary axe warriors, even though they got the advantage there of that charge. Back over here, the fight is raging on. We've got Arverni holding the line. Now we've got Thorax Swordsman cycle charging in. Beautiful. Love that. Good use of the cycle charge. Thorax Swordsman. They're going to definitely do some damage here. But they are taking on Thorax Swordsman of Athens, so it's going to be a pretty even fight, but they are outnumbered in that situation. Here, again, Chosen Swordsman, and now we have Bactria sending in Thorax Swordsman, really trying to bolster up this defense, but, you know, even if they win this small engagement, they got to win a lot more small engagements to come out on top of this battle. Now, archers are in play as well. The Gallic hunters letting loose a lot of arrows, going after, yep, sure enough, the archers, the Syrian heavy archers, and they're done. They're cooked. They got 27 kills, and they're out of the game. We've got more archers here. Can they even fire? I mean, they're kind of firing. You know, it's just painful for these defenders where they just can't find a good archer position. Because look how much they're desperately hugging these buildings. They're desperately hugging the buildings, barely getting any arrows off, and they're still just getting wiped out by the superior positioning of the attacking archers. All right, now look at this. We've got Arverni trying to utilize the cliff here, but once again, the attackers are ready for it. They have overloaded this right side with so many archer units. So even though Arverni has the superior terrain, even though they have the high ground, they're so heavily outnumbered and they're outskilled. The archers, the Athenian archers, are much better than these Gallic hunters or Gallic hunters. So yeah, they've lost a unit there. They've got one unit here, and I don't know. At this point, the defenders, they probably just feel like they're I don't know. They're at the end of the rope. I mean, what can they do against such reckless hate? I think it's going to have to come down to infantry. Their infantry has to win this battle here. But I mean, let's look at the kills. Let's look at the kills of the attackers here. Let's just check this out. 164, 156, 135, 181 with these standard archers. These aren't even the good Cretan archers. These are just standard archers. 189. A heavy bowman, 95. I mean, look at this. This bowman only has 5, but it's probably because they were just now utilized here, just now moved up and used. That's insane. And that is where, you know, if the attackers win this battle, it's that right there, the archer play. So we got some throw spears, trying to do some work here, trying to support the infantry. Thorax swordsman, trying to defeat the Athenian thorax. Bactria now holding the center with some thorax swords, but they're holding on by a thread. We got Bactria holding over here with the Seleucids. Honestly, they might want to call it quits over here, because I just don't think they have enough troops at this point to hold all these choke points. It is good to see that they are breaking some units here. And there we go. They're breaking some units in the center. Yeah, keep being aggressive. Keep closing in. Because the more you fight, the harder it is for the archers and skirmishers to get any hits, because you risk a friendly fire. So maybe that should be their plan of action, to be super hyper aggressive here. Because I think overall the defenders have better infantry than the attackers. They've got better factions. You know, that's not to say Athens is bad or Nervii or Gaeti are bad. They're decent, but you got the Seleucids, you got Bactria, you've got Arverni. These are all really good factions that have really good infantry. So that might be their way to win this fight, is to get the infantry in the fight and do their best to try to minimize deaths from archer fire. But I don't know. It's at a point where this is going to be a tough fight to overcome. It's going to be a tough fight to overcome. Here comes Thorax swordsman. They're moving up. And we've got chosen swordsman waiting in reserve. I mean, these are good units. And here comes reinforcements closing in. And oh my gosh. Athens is just bypassing this unit of thorax swordsmen. And they're going to advance into the infantry that is charging forward. Look at that. And they're going to cut off these aggressive thorax swords and surround them. Same thing here with this thorax swords unit. They're going to get surrounded, but Bactria is sending reinforcements. Come on, defenders. Oh no, he's kind of getting surrounded over here too. Where's that cav? Has the cav been... Okay, so it does look like the cav charged. Well, maybe not. I don't know. The cav... It doesn't matter. If the cav charged in... Yeah, I think the cav charged and attacked the artillery crew, but it doesn't matter. The artillery crew already got 259 kills. And look how much is left of this attacking force. Let's just look at this, guys. Oh my goodness, there's so many units left. Oh, what is this? What is this? The Seleucids bringing camel spearmen. Oh boy. You know things are getting desperate when this happens. Oh my gosh. A desperate camel charge to try to beat back the attacking infantry. Yeah. And over here, the attackers very wisely falling back, using their javies, weakening the thorax swordsman. And you just can't allow that. You just can't allow that. So really, it's coming down to Bactria and Arverni. Arverni still has a lot of chosen swordsmen. They've got their general. Seleucids, basically. Why did they bring so many camels to this fight? Like, why did they bring so many camels to the fight? I have no idea. Because They're good in the right situation. And guys, this is not the right situation. And already they're... Oh, that's the thorax swordsman break. How many kills do they have, though? 16. This unit has 5. This one has 6, the general. So now it looks like they're sallying out, and I guess they're going to try to get behind, but it doesn't matter. They're just going to put an infantry wall here. They're not going to be able to do anything there. I cannot stress how... If he just got one camel rider and the rest of those funds went into infantry, I think the defenders would be doing that much better. Would they be winning? Probably not. But they would be doing that much better. Thorax swordsman fighting the good fight here in the front. We've got noble swords flanking around. Fierce swords going around as well. Yeah, there's just so much attacking infantry here. It's going to be hard to believe. Here we go. This is probably the most interesting fight here. What are they doing? Like, where are they going? What, are they going to run down retreating troops? Why? Just a waste of resources. Now here's a charge of thorax swordsmen. Boom. Nice clash there. Very nice clash. Throw spears. Fighting off the throw spears of Athens. Got thorax swordsmen moving up to the center. And this is going to be a bit of a meat grinder here because our Verney does have some solid troops. So chosen swordsmen, they already have 26 kills. They've only lost 1 man. I mean, that just shows how good the chosen swordsmen are. It's just, I don't think they have enough here. I think the attackers outnumber them so... It's so bad that you're going to need a lot more chosen swordsmen to try to carve your way out of defeat here. Now Bactria is still trying to fight their best fight here. Trying their best to close in. Here comes the charge of camels. Like I said, this is going to do absolutely nothing. And considering how expensive these camels are, I don't think they're like an ungodly amount of money, but they are fairly expensive. Again, would have been better off if he just brought more infantry. Why so many camels? Why? These poor camels. Chosen swordsmen. They're getting hit now by archer fire. That's gonna, yep. And that's crushing. See how much have fallen since we last saw them? And they were doing pretty good. They got like 24 kills with only losing 1 man. Now they've lost like half their unit, if not more. And they've only got 36 kills. That is how big archer support is in this game. And chosen swordsman fighting the good fight. We got more units in reserve. Oh yeah. Now we got pikemen moving up. All right, they got some pikemen. Let's see how they go. They need to drop their pikes. They're getting chewed up here. Oh my gosh. They're dropping like flies. The pikes are not dropping their pikes. This is just disaster here. Disaster. And now we've got fierce swords closing in. Closing in. And they've got our Verney pushed back now. So now this is like the last stand of our Verney. What's going to happen here is that, yeah, they'll hold here for a little bit, but their flank is about to crumble. The balance of power is now looking like a cigarette, which means it's not looking good. Not looking good for the defenders. This was an absolute beating, an absolute slaughter for the defenders. Now they're cycling in troops. Oh my goodness. Just stop it. You don't need to cycle troops. Just let them fight. And there we go. Athens has broken through, and they're going to start pushing infantry around. We've got the camels coming back, and they're going to charge the Bactrian general. Hey, that's... Oh, wait, no. The Bactrian general's on defense. Right? Yeah. Bactrian. Sorry, it was deceiving because a total brain fart there, because it looked like Athens and Bactria are on a team because his units have gone past. But anyways, yeah, no, that wasn't interesting. That wasn't interesting. So yeah, they're definitely just at this point fighting for their dignity, trying to kill as many as possible, trying to bring down as many as possible with them, and we'll see how that plays out. We got 3 minutes left in this battle, so in the battle replay. Some people get confused, by the way, with the timer. They think that's the battle timer. No, that's the battle replay timer. So some people will be like, oh my gosh, the battle went down to the last second. No, no, no. The battle replay is the complete time of the replay. So it's always going to come down to the last second because that's how much time is in the battle replay. Anyways, the camels are just running into the meat grinder, and they're going to have a lot of roasted camel, I guess, for dinner tonight. I don't know. I mean, I assume you just eat the camels. I mean, can you eat camels? I can imagine you could. But look at this one, doesn't even have any kills. That was a big blunder right there. The Seleucids, I'm going to gamble and say that the Seleucids, this is my prediction, they got the least amount of kills. The least amount of kills. So, yeah, not exactly the closest of battles, but it is good to upload some dominating fights every once in a while just to show how it's done. There's Bactria using their general. But, yeah. This was a pure domination fight. Oh boy. Bactrian general getting absolutely hammered there by Javies. And there we go. That's it from them. And now it's coming down to the last epic bold stand from the Oathsworn. Oh. Nice charge. Hey, I mean, props to the Oathsworn here. He's got almost 100 kills, heavily outnumbered. This is such a good unit. They're starting to break, though. Yeah, they're breaking. Is there anything left? I wonder what happened to the Cav. You guys might have seen it, saw it in the minimap, but the Cav that sallied out, I didn't really ever see it again. I assume they killed the ballista crew. There we go. There's the last general. He should just run away while he's outside the city. Just run away. Because this is so over. So over. You're done. There it is. There it is, guys. So, again, guys, hopefully this was more of an educational video. I know, again, it wasn't super back and forth. It wasn't super close, but the attack here was really interesting. The use of the archers was really impressive, and that's really what won them this day is the archer use. That was fantastic. So, let's end the replay. This was sent in by Redbeard. I appreciate the battle replay. It's so funny. The people who submit the battle replays are always the ones, in most cases, this is why I beg people to send in their defeats, because people are like, oh, once I know who sends in the battle replay, I know they win, and most likely they get the most kills, which, actually, he didn't get the most kills, but close to the most kills. But yeah, this was a great fight. Great job with the archers. The archers won the day. for all the factions, all of them getting hundreds of kills, which I'm sure if you calculate that, plus with the ballista, it's going to be a big percentage of the defending armies. And then I was wrong. The Seleucids got the second to least kills. It was actually Arverni that got the least amount of kills, which is unfortunate. I mean, one of his infantry units getting 0 kills. Chosen swordsman getting 0 kills. That is tough to see. These camels were a waste of money. The archers here for the Seleucids getting nothing. I mean, the archers for the other players did a little bit better. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think the defenders could have done better there. Whether it's army composition, positioning, strategy, that kind of thing. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. It's always fun to see what people, think of these battles. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It means a lot. And I'll see you next time on the battlefield.